Getting rid of this wild contraption today. This bumper came on the FJ, but they had an accident here and so forth. So I kind of threw some things together here just to make it look half okay, but didn't look really great at all. So I got a new, another used bumper that's in better shape than this one, so I'm going to put it on. So I'll probably end up fast forwarding a lot of this video. So I'll be just doing the voiceover for the rest of this. So you take off that front grille, there's a few screws, and then it unsnaps. That bumper wasn't held on by much, but if you're usually taking off your bumper, there's quite a few pop clips along the top edge, and then you have to unscrew it from the skid plate down below and some other things. Right here I'm just commenting on how I have kind of a dent in this crossbar because there was a little bit of a front accident there that the guy had told me about, and I can notice some damage from that, so I'm going to replace that whole thing. And these are also the steps you'd be using to take off parts to put on a steel bumper. So there's just various bolts, and you just have to kind of wiggle and go and wiggle and go and see where the next one is. I'm not going to explain every single one, but you might notice things look a little bit different on mine. I have a 2-inch body lift, so you can see that front AC evaporator is lower downwards. There's where the accident pushed in my subframe or front clip, and I don't have any equipment to pull that out, so I'm just gonna deal with it by using a spacer or something in between. So this was a GX 470 bumper, and it does fit right on here, but it's too wide to use with the FJ because it has those smiley faces on the ends. But these crash bars were also from the GX 470, so I was able to pick up some new ones. Mine actually weren't damaged, but I think I accidentally lost them when I sold the GX 470. I had them stashed in there, I believe. So there I'm pointing to my body lift, 2-inch body lift. It just goes on those bolts there in the front, and then the other body mounting bolts going back. So I need to raise this up by 2 inches so that my bumper will be in the right spot, and if I do this, I can only have one bolt on there, which for the crash bar obviously won't work. If I get hit in the front, the whole entire bar and those little tubes like the one I'm holding right now will just bend right over into the evaporator, or condenser for the AC there. So I'm just going to put these in temporarily and put the crash bar on here, but I'm going to definitely be securing with some steel plates behind those crash tubes so that it's mounted correctly onto the frame. And when you're putting on a steel bumper, the positions and the height of those tubes, or if you need them at all, that's usually where the mounting brackets go. And so if you have a steel bumper and you get in a big accident, it's gonna push back your frame, because normally it doesn't incorporate those tubes, but a lot of times in a crash, it will just destroy the other car and not yours much. So fastening on used piece for that top bar and checking this, but yep, I'm pointing out there. This front crash bar has kind of evened out those tubes, so that's good, but I need to crank everything down. Now I'm putting back on this fender piece because I had taken it off to see what it would look like. Decided to put them back on when I got this bumper so everything would match and look stock. I did need to stretch it around the corner a little bit on each side. I don't know if it's that type of fit if you didn't have any type of small collision, but it seemed to fit nice and tight when I got done. Putting back the headlights in here. The headlights do have about 3 bolts in them, so be careful. Don't try to yank off your headlights and crack the plastic without getting those 3 bolts out. And then over by the orange area, it's kind of a pop clip. Now I'm cleaning up with some detail spray, but black plastic can be really hard to restore. I might end up getting a product that's made just for it to make it a really deep black, because you can see here in the video as the fast forwarding is going on, it will dry already, that detailing spray, and not much of it would be left. So you can see it, the dry spot along the front edge already. So these little corner pieces here are my last thing to do, and I got one of these at a salvage yard that's black. I'll need to paint that silver later if I really care to. And the only other thing to note is that crease, or that gap in between the hood and the fender there, around up there by the hood, is evidence that this was smashed a little bit in an accident on that side. So looking pretty good to me. This is a 290k mile FJ, and the bumper looks like it could be from the factory, 290k on it as well. It came off of a vehicle with 260k.